What's up, Scoops? Today, just because I already covered it a little bit in the Arthur Shawcross case, if you didn't see it, there's a link right there. There's also one in the doobly-doo. I wanted to cover the sex offender registry. I know it's different depending on which country you're in, what region of the country. In the United States, every single state has a different version of it. So I just wanted to go over like the general basics of it because I think there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily understand about it. The sex offender registry was started in different times in different places depending on where you were in the world. One of the most famous cases that started it was in New Jersey in 1996. A 7-year-old named Kanka was walking from her mom's house over to a friend's house, and on the way, a well-known sex offender whose name I cannot pronounce lured her into his house with the promise of seeing a puppy, at which point he raped her and murdered her and dumped her body. The very next day, however, I guess once he got it out of his system, he confessed to the crime. Now, this man had already been arrested and convicted for 2 other children's murders in previous years, and people were astounded that he could just move wherever he wanted, across the street from anyone, including a 7-year-old little girl, and, re-offend if he wanted to. And that is where Megan's Law came in. Kanka, Megan's Law, where if you are a sex offender, you have to, by law, register for the sex offender list and announce yourself to the community every single time you move. There are a lot of people who are on the sex offender list or who are family members of people who are on the list who have a huge problem with the fact that every single time they move, they, 1, have to announce it, and 2, that people now know their home address, because you have to know where this person is to really know whether or not you have to be severely vigilant or if it's just, far across town or whatever. And there are cases where people in towns have basically gone crazy, we don't want this sex offender here, and gone and attacked people, but generally speaking, it's just a helpful thing for other people around. And I understand privacy laws, I understand the fact that you don't necessarily want your address, blasted to everybody who you're around and told that you're a sex offender. But the fact of the matter is that everyone around you deserves to know whether or not they are in danger. Your need for privacy is not more important than the community's safety. Now, once they started this registry, they had to make different levels because there are people who are at that level of, they have the possibility of hurting a child, killing somebody, and have a high chance of reoffending. And there are people whose crimes were not at that high level, and they might reoffend, they might not, but it's good to keep an eye on them. And there are people who are low level who, their crime was basically just sexual in nature, but was not actually a sexual crime, and we're keeping them under observation just to guarantee safety. But the chances of them reoffending are very low. People at that level probably did something like soliciting a prostitute, which technically speaking is not that bad, except that it is against the law. That's just the United States. In most countries around the world, there are certain books that could get you on the sex offender registry. Like I know in England, there's a book, again, I cannot remember the name, sorry guys, it's very late, I'm very tired. But if you own this book in England, there's a huge chance that you could be put on the sex offender registry. I'm not going to give you a link to it because the fact of the matter is just owning it in some countries is enough to get you put on the sex offender list or possibly arrested. It was illegal in the United States up until 1973 when the Miller test ruled it not pornographic. And for anybody who wants to know, the Miller test is basically looking at something that some people might call pornographic and saying, okay, well, it might be called pornographic, but it could also be artistic, literary, political, or scientific. For instance, if you want to search how to breastfeed on YouTube, you will see, full-on breasts because it is scientific and it is necessary to show you that for you to learn how to do the thing. It's scientific, it's not pornographic. And for anyone who might want to know, when I did the story on Arthur Shawcross, I pointed out that the parole officer was supposed to announce his arrival. This law did start in 1996, whereas Arthur Shawcross was moved to Rochester in 1988. So there was no legal mandate at the time for the parole officer to announce him to the community at large, but he did have to report it to the police officers. Most likely the reason why he didn't is because if you get a small enough town and a chatty enough sheriff's wife, then everybody knows what he did in about 10 minutes. He didn't want to have to deal with that, so he just didn't tell anybody. If you have any more questions about the sex offender registry, please ask them in the comments below. As always, Sunday will be answering your comments day. And I have to edit this video and then get off to sleep because I am just about to fall over. I don't even know if this video made sense. I'm going to edit it so it does. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe so you can see more awesome. I honestly love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.